music,
Dun, dun,
intro
dun, dun.
music. Let's, this is just for the Twitch audience. Hello, Twitch. Welcome to the intro part of the show. I think we're ready to rock and roll, Kelvin. What do you reckon?
Yeah, I'm just gonna quickly test the feed on my phone.
So, for the old-time fans, this used to be our intro music once upon a time.
Yeah, now it's a special Twitch thing.
We like it. I like it. I like the intro, but it just doesn't timing-wise. It doesn't quite work for us. So
No,
we parked that one.
it's a little intense.
Yeah, little intense.
Yeah.
Yes. Hmm. Um. Yeah. Yeah. And now we're kind of using my own composition that I made from an iPad app of some description. I actually did it. Did you know this?
Yeah, I
I
know.
actually
Yeah.
like. Yeah. All right.
Okay.
Have you got anyone on Twitch? Hello, Twitch.
All right.
Do
Let me
we
just.
did we make the 7-day cutoff date?
Oof, I haven't
Time
checked,
limit?
but I made clips anyway. So and I uploaded the original on
Oh yeah,
YouTube.
right.
So some of that stuff will stay.
Okay. Okay. Well, you know what? I reckon there might not be anyone right now, but as we build this up, we could have a bit
Yeah.
of an audience. We've already had some pretty good, we had a few likes on our videos, okay,
Yeah.
on Facebook and
Yep. I think we can talk
yeah,
about all that. And when we start the show, I'm just gonna quickly send
and
out the links.
okay, yeah, we better do that. So today's episode, 1 week on from 141 episode, a lot of 1 week on from the COVID stuff as usual.
Mm,
The app is out.
you're the app
Bit
guy.
of Facebook, bit of I'm the app guy.
Yeah.
It's available on the App Store right now. It's rated 2.4. Anyway, I'm going to save this part of the conversation
Yeah.
for the actual show. What else we got? We got Facebook. Facebook getting involved. Facebook is kind of like taking a bit of an opportunity in this current climate, I reckon. They're going hard,
Oh,
going ham, as the kids say.
as the cool kids say.
Well, I wouldn't go that far. All right, just say the word and
All right,
I'll play the intro.
hit it.
Oh, I just saw your thing on my watch. Okay. All right, we're gonna go in. Let me just, sorry, gotta make sure I'm on the right soundboard. Okay. What are we doing? The show that gives you everything. Okay. And a 3 and a 2 and a 1. Hello and welcome to episode 142 of the Naked Tech Podcast. We're here to give you everything you need to know about consumer tech, the internet, and all things low energy Bluetooth. I'm your friend Jeff Kim.
My name is Kelvin Lee, and today I am part Android.
Part Android, the other part, I guess, still human.
Barely. Compared to Zuck, I'm very human. The reason why I'm saying that is today I'm passing my voice through a tool called the NVIDIA RTX Voice. The job of this app is to remove any background noise. So whether it be my kids screaming, my wife doing things in the background, it should be able to eliminate all of that. And
I guess the audience will never know.
they'll never know.
Because they won't be able to hear anything.
That's right.
Yeah, because I think I've noticed since we've been streaming this on video the last couple of times we've done this, I did notice that you're like muting your mic sometimes when you're not talking.
Yeah, isn't it crazy?
You don't have to do that now. Yeah.
Yeah, no, I think I've learned so much since we've started streaming on Twitch. For example, I can't wear, bad t-shirts anymore that I wear to bed. It's our podcasting sort of ritual where I wear comfy clothes. That's got to go. I think good lighting matters. I was way overexposed. I had to change my camera settings for the webcam. Just things you never had to think about when you're just doing a podcast, which is, strange considering I've been doing it for like 5 years now.
It is 5 years actually. I was going through, I don't know, one of these this time 5 years ago, 6 years ago. So I think we started December 2014, Kelvin.
Hmm.
Sounds about right, doesn't it?
Yeah. No, sounds about right.
Yeah. Yeah. Yep, so 142 episodes in. I think there's a few missing episodes here and there, but I think we're doing pretty good compared to some of the other things that have sort of come and gone over the years. Um, can I tell you about a Netflix show I've just gotten into just in the past week?
Hey, any new Netflix
It's a
show to watch?
crazy.
I'm up for it.
Actually, I've got two recommendations in this isolation era. So the first one is actually quite a fun one. It's called Middle Ditch and Shorts. So this is a two comedy act that does a lot of improv stuff, and it's actually amazingly funny.
It's the guy from Silicon Valley,
Um,
right?
it is, yeah, that's Middleditch, and
Yeah.
the other guy I haven't really heard of before, but he's just as good. So basically, just two guys on a stage for about 40 minutes, just acting out a situation that they usually have a bit of a conversation first for about first 5 minutes with the audience. They get some ideas. For example, the last one I saw just now was it's set in a law school where strange things happen. You just have to watch it. It's kind of builds up, and the performances are actually hilarious. And Middle Ditch, I've got like so much more respect for him now.
What did Middleditch do? He doesn't look familiar to me.
So he's the guy from Silicon
Oh,
Valley.
Middleditch,
So
right.
he's
Schwartz is
the
the
guy
other
that
guy. Gotcha.
yeah, Schwartz is the other guy. Yeah. So he plays a bit of a dweeb
Hmm.
in Silicon Valley, like pretty shy, but like that's just one of the characters he might play on this show. He's actually totally different to that character in Silicon
Sweet.
Valley in real life. Actually,
I
you
can't
never know,
wait.
actually. Yeah. The other one is called the Midnight Gospel, which is a crazy, trippy animation, and there's a lot of like synergies in terms of what I've been trying to like listen to lately. It's almost like if I can pitch this show on Netflix, because a lot of people do that. So this guy, his name is oh crap, I've forgotten his name. It's Darren. Actually, I'll come back to the name of the guy that created it. But he actually has a podcast that's been going for like over 300 episodes, and if you can think of this, it's like it's a recording of a podcast where they talk about all kinds of mythical, and they do a lot of drugs as well, but like um, getting into these like flow states, with different brain states, which is I'm sort of trying to get into. Actually, I might park that for another episode, but then layered on top of that is the actual animation, which is, I guess you could kind of say some of the trips they go on is sort of made through the animation, maybe. But like, yeah, it's hard to describe. It's just I think the best word to describe it
So I'm
is
looking
it's
at
trippy.
IMDb now. It's got 8.3. The creator is Duncan
Mm.
Trussell.
Hmm.
Trussell.
That's him. That's him.
So I saw
Trussell.
the
Mm.
trailer on YouTube, and I immediately just went, nah, it's totally wacky. It's trying to be a whole, Rick and Morty type ripoff. So it's good to hear you say that. It's got the wackiest description. So it says Clancy, a space caster with a malfunctioning multiverse simulator who leaves the comfort of his home to interview beings living in dying worlds. If
Yep,
that doesn't describe you,
that's
I
exactly
don't
it.
know what does. Like seriously, that should be you. Just replace Clancy with Jeff Kim, and there you go.
I feel like those two shows that I just described are probably the two extremes of my personality, maybe. So somewhere in between, I'm there, I think. So you're probably
Yep,
right there.
sounds good.
Yeah. But anything you found interesting in the last week before we get on to the show?
I've finally succumbed to getting Disney Plus, so I've finished the Mandalorian. I couldn't
Woo.
stand the first 8 episodes of the last season of Clone Wars, and I'm trying to get back into Rebels. So I've just caught the end of season 3. The start of season 4 is slow. I don't know why all Star Wars animation, animated TV series is like. Why is the first few episodes so bad? It's just it doesn't even ramp up too much anymore. Anyway, once I finish Rebels, I think we can do a whole episode on the Star Wars TV side of things on Disney Plus.
Mm. Yeah, and don't forget, so there's two more episodes coming. There'll be one on Friday coming up. But then, because the Monday following is May the 4th,
Oh,
the finale will be dropping on that Monday. So I'm really looking forward to it. I've actually been a fan, like despite all the criticisms, I've been a fan of the season 7 of the Clone Wars. I think the last two have been pretty much the best Star Wars, full stop.
oof.
That I'm gonna like go right up there. It's the best Star Wars I've been like,
Yeah.
you know, the whole Ahsoka and
Yeah,
Darth Maul and
not to get into too
yeah.
much, but I rewatched the battle between Vader and Ahsoka, and that was a good fight scene too. I think comparable to what we saw between. You know what? We're not going to spoil it for anyone. Let me just finish the season. We'll come back to it, and then maybe we'll do a season review of Star Wars on Disney Plus. I think that's worth it.
Perhaps on Star Wars
Hey,
Day, Kelvin. But yeah, on with the show. On with the show. We got some Apple news to start
that's
off.
right. So this is a bit of a rumor because it happened on MacRumors.com. I'm gonna let my brother from another mother, Dave Lee, just introduce what exactly is going to be coming in terms of the MacBook lineup in 2021.
So, the rumors have been floating around forever, but we've gotten some really good confirmation recently from Ming-Chi Kuo. We're going to be seeing an ARM-based MacBook in 2021. Now, the difference for the people that are unfamiliar with this stuff, the difference between a Intel-based MacBook, which is every single MacBook that's available right now, versus an ARM-based one is the chip inside. So instead of an Intel or AMD processor, this would be running a custom processor designed by Apple in-house, completely customized to whatever their needs or wants are.
Yeah.
And they
So this is going to be a huge hit for Intel if the rumor is true. Intel's already suffering on the consumer front with AMD doing so well. AMD also recently launched its 4000 series laptop processors that apparently are amazing as well. So Intel's going to lose a bit of its market share in the laptop world. If this is true and Apple can, is creating their own silicon based on what they currently use in the iPads and the iPhones and whatnot, this is going to be huge, right? I mean, Apple will now no longer have to depend on Intel for anything at all, which is super interesting.
Mm. Is this also like a bridge for all like Mac devices to go to their own chipset,
You see,
like the A14s,
I think
A15s?
it'd be a stretch to push the Mac Pros to use these new ARM-based processors because you're going to need the i9s to really fulfill that Pro class. The biggest roadblock for Apple is the software. So just to quickly go through it,
Mm.
the AMD chips and the Intel chips that you see in your computers, in every single computer practically, is based off a architecture that is x86. ARM is a totally different architecture, so the software that's been developed for x86 is not going to work for ARM. So Apple is working hard to rejig all its software. What is it called? iWorks? Is it still called iWorks? Um, but the other GarageBand and things like that, it's going to have to be re-architectured for ARM. But Adobe, has to be re-architectured. Browsers have to be re-architectured, so on and so forth. Now, Microsoft also has an ARM-based Surface device, so there is push from the bigger sort of software providers out there and hardware providers to focus on ARMs so they can control their own
Hmm.
hardware and software, which is a huge hit for Intel.
Hmm. Yeah, so Adobe would be one of those,
Yeah,
wouldn't
and I
they?
think Adobe stands to win because they can cover, a much bigger proportion of the market,
Mm.
and ARM processors might be better than Intel and AMD. So we'll see.
Okay, interesting stuff. That's not
That's
till
right.
2021 though.
But if you're thinking of buying a laptop and
Mm.
you want the latest and greatest, and you want to see what Mac can do with their own processors, you might want to hold out a bit.
Okay. Well, let's sort of coming back to 2020, present day, April, whatever it is. It was Anzac Day yesterday, 25th. Just a few days before that, however, the government actually, no, that's not true. Even today they announced the the COVID Safe app. That's what they're calling it. I think last week we talked about this, and they were going to call it COVID Trace, but I think wisely they decided not to use the word trace in the name of the app. So it's called COVID Safe now, which is kind of close to COVID Trace, but that's officially launched as of 6 p.m. today. So if you hit the App Store, your Google Play stores, you will see it. They're not Apple, at least for Apple, they haven't advertised it on the App Store just yet, but I expect that to happen tomorrow. Now, as with most of these like government, launches, it's like if you have a look at the rating, it's like 2.3 or something like that. And most of that is because they actually launched the app before the 6 p.m. time slot where you could actually register. Like if you downloaded it, say like 3:30 p.m., like all you got was like a gray screen. So everyone's like, if you're in the App Store, everyone's just saying, hey, how do I register for this thing? I can't do anything. It doesn't work. So yes, that's a bit funny, but it is a government after all. Here is I'm going to play a little bit of the TV ad that's going to be playing on your screens for the next so many weeks.
It's why we've introduced the COVID Safe app. With your privacy protected by law, COVID Safe keeps a secure note of other users you've been near if you have to go out. So, if they test positive for coronavirus, you'll be notified. It'll help us stop the spread sooner so we can get back to the things we love. Download COVID Safe today. Authorised by the Chief Medical Officer, Canberra.
And on that, I'll introduce the Chief Medical Officer here in Canberra.
Thanks, Minister.
Sorry, I left a little bit at the end there, which was the press conference where, both lip smacking. That was gold there. I mean, we all do it, but like that was very noticeable. It was authorized by the CMO, Chief Medical Officer Brendan Murphy. He's doing a pretty good job out there, but I guess we talked about the technology. It's not about location and GPS. However, it's using low energy Bluetooth to just sort of basically pair with the person next to you. And one follow-up, I should probably say, it wasn't 15 meters. The distance is actually 1.5 meters.
Right.
So if you both have the app downloaded on your phones, and you're 1.5 meters from each other, that's very close, for longer than 15 minutes, then you basically pass your ID onto each other. And say one of you gets positive, then I guess the authorities who might check that phone, which has the tag for the other person's phone, will be contacted, I believe. I think because you have to register with your phone number, I think that's how it works. So yeah, like I think last week when we talked about this, like a lot of this wasn't really known. It was like a bit of speculation, but we know a little bit more now.
1.5 meters for 15 minutes, like. And
yeah.
If you are social distancing, like what sort of like percentages are they looking at? What sort of percentage of the population they're looking at, right? I mean, I guess if you work at Coles or Woolies or something, but still, like,
I guess like, yeah. The thing about this is like they're saying it's a voluntary download, so they're pushing for 40%. However, you'll be like hearing messages like, well, the more people download this and start using it, the faster we'll, lift the restrictions around social distancing. So imagine like when they do lift some of the, the big crowds. So, I think at one point it was like 100 was the limit for like even you're able to go to the cinema, right? You're able to watch movies. Right now you can't do that, but maybe when they get to a certain point, they'll say, okay, 100 people in a cinema. In that situation, you probably will be 1.5 meters away from someone for longer than 15 minutes. So yeah.
The scenario that plays in my head is, for example, let's just say they're trying to catch someone who's running from authorities, but they have his phone and he has the app installed.
Mm-hmm.
Can they find the people who were close to him for 15 minutes or longer?
So a lot of the reports are talking about this mission creep. So that would be considered mission creep. They do. The message is, no, we're gonna use this solely for contact tracing purposes for the health authorities to try to. I think they're calling them health
Gotcha.
detectives, which I kind of like, because it is a puzzle they
Because
need
the
to
other thing I
solve,
read
right?
was I believe the Attorney General has made it illegal for the police to access any part of this app. So I guess that's a good thing.
Yeah. Yeah, so in the ad, they did talk about it will be written into law, and that hasn't happened yet. So it's kind of amazing that they've launched the app before that. I think it's going to happen this week, but it will pass into law, all those things that we described
Are you going to
during the
install
week. Now, I am not.
Yeah.
I am not. I mean, there's a couple of things. There may be a push to do this, like say by Wednesday this week, maybe the numbers are like 5%, right? So like they're gonna make us feel guilty. They'll be like, well, hey, if you want to go outside and do stuff, you're gonna have to do it. I think the worst case scenario for everyone is like, well, what else can they do, right? They can do stuff like further encouragement in inverted commas, like maybe they're blocking benefits. Maybe they'll end up,
Hey,
blocking
give me
your
a
tax
discount
returns,
on my
stuff like
car
that. That's a
registration or
bit,
something. You know what I mean?
yeah, or even health insurance and that sort of stuff, perhaps. Yeah, so a lot of these are, I think, still on the cards. It'll be interesting. This is bit of an experiment in itself. Like this is almost like a what do you call it? Like a not a vote. It's a vote of confidence for ScoMo's work so far, right? Like if people do start downloading it, yeah, maybe they kind of like the way he's been
Well,
approaching
for me, the
things.
reason why I'm not going to download it is because I'll be a useless data point. I am seriously not close to anyone for longer than 15 minutes at that distance. I'm just a useless data point.
Mm.
So
yeah, and I think most of us will be until these restrictions are lifted. I'm going to play a bit of a funny clip. Just think back to about 5 minutes ago when I did play the ad. I saw a YouTube of someone like collecting all the COVID related ads from all these different companies. Like you're talking about Apple and Samsung and BHP. I think I saw a lot of the car companies as well that got a lot of these ads about how they're helping us in these trying times, etc. And all the ads apparently sound the same. Here it is.
We'll be here for you.
We're still here for you.
We're with you. We're part of your community.
So you can trust us.
You can count on us.
And we'll get through this. Together.
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 Together. Together.
Together.
Together.
Together. Together.
Yeah, so someone did a supercut of that. That was pretty amazing video. So I'll sort of put that in the notes. Go check it out.
As a community.
Together. We'll do it together. Yeah. Yeah, that's right. Another implication of all of this stuff that a government are pushing through Parliament and written into law is another thing that they announced during the week, which was our treasurer, Josh Friedberg.
Frydenberg? Who knows?
Frydenberg. Frickenberg. Sorry, okay. Josh Friedberg, he announced that mandatory code will be delivered to have Australian media companies compensated by Facebook and Google. So they basically want Facebook and Google to pay a little bit of, I don't know, tax you can say to news.com or who are our media outlets? 9 NBC, is that still a thing? It's not, is it?
Yeah.
9 MSN?
Yeah. So
is that still a thing?
Is it dependent on the amount of traffic that comes into Facebook from these sources? The other way around? Like, how are they gonna?
So zero details have been announced. Let's just play a clip from ABC News.
It's time the tech titans were held to account.
A mandatory code of conduct's coming to force the likes of Google and Facebook to pay for news content they pilfer from Australian media outlets.
We believe this is a battle worth fighting.
But enforcing it will be hard. No other countries managed to do it.
Pilfer content from my...
Okay. So here's what publishers are pissed about, right? People are reading the articles in Facebook and not going to their platforms for the ads to appear? Is that what they're pissed about?
Can they actually do
So
that?
I'm trying to
Can
figure
they
out what they're
actually do
pissed
that?
about.
They read
What exactly
the
are they pissed about?
headlines.
What exactly? Why are they blaming?
Well, I mean, in Australia, especially, a lot of the subsidiary newspapers, so regional newspapers, suburban newspapers in like Sydney and Melbourne, they're all like not printing anymore because so this is actually something they started. This was when ScoMo was actually treasurer like 18 months ago. He asked the ACCC, which is the Australian Competition and Consumer Commission, I think, to look at this. They saw that 8 to 14% of all results that show up on Google are actually news articles in Australia, at least. So a lot this, I mean, I guess Google is let's sort of take Facebook out of the picture for now because that's a bit more random. But at least for Google, I think a lot of the eyeballs to the publisher content is coming from at least Google, right? Because they're like most things.
But also aren't these media publishers thinking about the world without Facebook and Google, where no one is finding your content? So okay, so here's the story, right? There's a lot of news that is being linked from in these platforms. So it's created a bulk of people to go to these platforms to first view the content and before they click through. Be very careful what you ask for. Google and Facebook, there's nothing to stop them from starting their own publishing teams, their own reporters to cover all this news without these publishers. They're big enough to do that. So this is not going to work out.
Yeah. So I got a statement from. Well, let's uncover this a little bit. So I've got a statement from Will Easton. He's the managing director of Facebook in Australia and New Zealand. This is a statement. It's somewhat like empathetic of the situation as well. So here it goes. We're disappointed by the government's announcement. We've invested millions of dollars locally to support Australian publishers through content arrangements, partnerships, and training for the industry. So, there's a bit of a dig there as well. But they actually want to encourage this, so that they've accepted it. Basically, yes, this is going to come, but let's work together, sort of thing. I think they're trying to go for the high ground, at least for Facebook anyway. Now, Google in the past, even as far back as 2014, so Spain tried to do the same thing. The Spanish newspapers were just complaining left, right, and center. The result was Google just saying, well, okay, we won't feature you on Google News.
Yeah.
Or the Google results. So 6 years later, I think Spain is the only country in the world where they don't have a Google News a site or visibility there. So yeah, I think at least for Google, they're willing to just say, hey, you guys don't want to get traffic from us, then we'll just won't show your stuff.
It's the SEO mantra, right? It is not a right to rank; it's a luxury. So I just don't know how this is gonna. I don't see how this will play well for the media organizations at all. You know what I mean? Or they pull them off Google, or Google starts its own news network. How is that gonna help?
Yeah. So apparently they've been chatting to them privately about some level of compensation, almost like out of court settlement type of thing. But I guess agreement was not reached. Now, I think in July, the mandatory code, the so-called mandatory code will be published. That's where we will get the actual details on how they're going to do it. Right now, it's a bit of hey, we're going to tax you somehow. Well, I don't even know if it's a tax thing or the money just goes directly to the publishers or not.
There are networks outside of Facebook and Google, and if you and I had a consulting firm to advise these media organizations, wouldn't it to be explore these channels, explore Instagram, Telegram, explore them and see how you can use them to find your own segment of readers. You're not going to win this one. You're just not going to.
Yeah, because the truth is, the media industry in general is been dying a slow death for at least 15 years. It's been a steady decline for 15 years. And to just like blame the big tech guys, I think, yes, there's a bit of an element there, but like this is not going to solve the
Also,
underlying
it's
issue, is it?
heavily politically motivated, obviously. So I don't think this will help the media industry.
But expect to see all these articles from the actual publishers that are asking for the money to be positive, spending this in a positive way to the government. So I think it's another one of these like, well, would Friedberg have come out and said this if it wasn't for this current COVID situation? I'm not sure. Like, I feel like even I read an article from BuzzFeed America saying, hey, I think all the other countries should follow Australia. You know, I think the Irish Prime Minister actually came out and said, yes, we're going to definitely look at this anyway. So I think it's probably a bold move, quite calculated, I think, as well. But interesting times, nonetheless.
Can't wait to see what happens.
Yeah. I've got another bit of Facebook news here. I will let VentureBeat tell the story.
The social networking company said Wednesday it'll spend $5.7 billion to take a nearly 10% stake in Geo Platforms, a company based in India helping to take local grocery stores online. The deal is Facebook's biggest purchase since it shelled out $22 billion for WhatsApp 6 years ago.
Wow, 6 years ago.
Didn't realize
it was that long ago. Yeah, it's the biggest purchase by far. So this is actually 5.7 billion American for 9.99% stake into this Indian company. A little bit about this company. I don't know if you heard of these guys before, but the actual conglomerate that they mentioned is called Reliance Industries. It's owned by a guy called Mukesh Ambani. He's the richest person in India, and he's valued at 52 billion. Yeah, I think just for comparison, Elon Musk is at 30 billion right now. Yeah, so he's one of the richest people on earth, and he's allowing Facebook to take 10% of that cut. Now, Geo, I think they call it Geo Platforms, but it's a series of like small businesses, like grocery stores. So if you can imagine these scattered all around India, right? And they're going to introduce some way to connect into WhatsApp. India is also one of the biggest users of WhatsApp in the world. They have 600 million users, like daily users. That's crazy, right? Nuts. So a lot of synergy there. I've got Scott Galloway from the Pivot podcast. He's got a couple of theories, and I really like them. He grates me a little bit sometimes, but he actually does have a few smart things to say every now and then.
What this looks like it is basically a multi-billion-dollar investment in an attempt to monetize the 600 million WhatsApp users in India.
Yeah.
There's something called GeoMart that is exceptionally popular among Indian small businesses, and the thinking is, all right, let's take the small businesses and connectivity of small businesses, let's put them on WhatsApp, and let's try and turn WhatsApp into an e-commerce platform on top of a 600 million strong user base, and then maybe import those learnings to the rest of the world and turn WhatsApp into what is probably could be the next Instagram, and that is drives the real value at Facebook.
So Instagram as in driving value, but I think in terms of user experience, it'll be more like WeChat.
Yeah, I mean, they're just copying the WeChat model, right? Where you can buy stuff, you can do everything on WeChat. It's a super app. So is Facebook trying to build a super app in India? I think that'll be interesting.
Well, I think they already have the framework with WhatsApp. So I think I totally agree with this. This is a play to almost experiment with the Indian audience. Like I know for a fact that they can't live without WhatsApp in India. Heavily relied on. So this like if this works, then take that model elsewhere. So that's the play. It's kind of like interesting that it's happening now, but why not? Right? Zuck is, as we can see from the next story, probably ambitious as always, looking at opportunities to
That's right.
become a
Here's his
trillionaire.
mugshot on Twitch, if you're looking at it. It's a YouTube video we're about to play on him launching the latest Zoom rival, Messenger Rooms.
To video rooms. The major difference between video calling and video rooms is that with video calling, you're actually calling someone or multiple people and ringing their phone. With video rooms, you set up a room and invite people to join ahead of time, usually by sending around a link. And until now, across our products, we've really focused on video calling. But today, we're going to discuss a new product that we've been building called Messenger Rooms. And the basic idea with Messenger Rooms is that you should be able to create a room for any activity or any event that you want to hold. You should be able to just send people a link, and then they should be able to drop by and hang out with you over video presence. And you should be able to invite anyone you want to your room, even if they don't have a Facebook account. So we want to make it work in WhatsApp and Instagram, and we also want to make it work for people who don't have accounts with any of our services. It's incredibly easy. You just send a link, and that's it. People.
Sounds kind of familiar, Kelvin.
The reason why I never cut Zuck's clips too short is because I just want to give you a flavor of the way Zuck presents these new, services, platforms, apps. It would have saved him a minute and 15 seconds if he just said, "We are launching a Zoom-like service. Enjoy." It's just that people know what video conferencing is, and yeah,
I think they do now.
And for him to try and explain it to such detail, I never understand why he does that.
I mean, like if say the voice was a little bit different, it would have sounded like someone trying to explain Zoom.
Yeah, he basically
features.
explained every video conferencing app available. Yeah. What do you think though? So you don't need a Facebook account or any account to tap into this, just like Zoom. You can use it in Instagram, WhatsApp, and Facebook, so it's integrated somehow. I haven't seen it yet. I think it's a long time coming. Will it be good? So far, the verdict's out there, but I can't wait to try it.
Yeah, I think I'll definitely give it a go. I think one of the reasons why Zoom has been so popular, I think possibly the main reason is that it wasn't Facebook. In a way. So it'll be interesting, yes, UI and features wise, it'll be just as easy. I think, I don't know, what is the penetration rate for Facebook? It's got to be close to 90%, right? So even if you don't have it, it's going to be easy. So that's that could be a slight security concern there. But just because, I mean, I love House Party because there's that social element. Yes, you can sort of go in and out of different people's rooms, but if they're unlocked, but that's you're pretty safe in that it's going to be your social contact that you've already been matched with friends with. So you're going to get that with Facebook out of the box, right? Like from day one, day zero, you're going to be connected to your friends, like real life friends in Facebook.
Yeah,
so
I totally
friends.
agree. Like if I was on a work assignment and someone sent me a Facebook Messenger room link, I'd be a bit, this feels wrong. But you're totally right.
Are you a little bit? Yeah, are you a little bit surprised that they didn't just outright buy Zoom?
I think because they had the underlying tech for Messenger with the video. Yeah.
Anyway, yeah.
And they have the outreach, right? They have the people. They don't need a separate database of people to market to. They don't need the tech. Is Zoom's tech really that much more superior? I mean, look, I'm sure Zuck had his people look into it, and they're probably confident with their own back-end technology. So, no reason to buy Zoom.
Zoom is actually worth $47 billion, so that would have been quite a expensive spend there. But yeah, you're totally right. I think that technology-wise, they have everything. They would have been just literally buying the brand, I think. Because everyone, Zoom has become so synonymous in 2020. Like, I think even my mum
Yeah,
would know what
yeah.
Zoom is. You know what I mean?
The thing that really surprises me about Facebook is Facebook has a work tool and service called Facebook for Work. So it's basically like Facebook.com, but only for your colleagues and everything. I never understood why that never took off. I guess the same reasons why, why we think this won't take off for work. It's because it's Facebook and Facebook isn't LinkedIn. So I can see how this is useful for Facebook for Work, and it's a good product sort of to add into that. But I think they probably really want Facebook for Work to really work, and they're going to need this.
Zoom, the rise of Zoom, just going back to that a little bit, just sort of occurred to me while you're talking there. The rise of Zoom actually reminds me of the rise of Facebook initially, like in 2008. Just in that, like, do you remember that period of time when like everyone just got on it, right? It's like, I think it was the first time where like emails were sent out to join a service. Like, I know like that happens everywhere now, but I think Facebook were the first ones to do that. And it was just so easy. It was like literally nothing too different to MySpace at the time. Rest in peace.
Tom.
But yeah, the onboarding was so easy, and I think the Zoom onboarding has sort of been that same sort of level of easiness. Now, okay, so you mentioned Messenger. Well, he mentioned Messenger. So they're actually gonna go ahead with Messenger Video as well, which will allow 50 people. So this is different to the Rooms one, I believe. Rooms is going to be part of the Messenger app as well, or a separate app. I'm not sure if we know this yet. There's WhatsApp video still exists. They're going to lift that to 8 people. And also there's video in Facebook dating.
I forgot about Facebook dating. Totally forgot about that.
I think most people have.
I think everyone is stepping up, whether it be Facebook, Google. They're all going to try and make their video conferencing service better, because I think this is the way of the future. I think things will never go back to normal after COVID-19. And I was reading this article about Slack. They're going to push the reopening of their office to September 1. If anyone, Slack should be the company that's leading the way for moving large enterprises to work from home. So things are going to change. Things are going to change fast. Slack is going to play a much bigger role. Zoom, any video conferencing service is going to all have to up their game.
Yeah, speaking of which, Google Meet will now be accessible from Gmail. So I don't know if that's the G Suite product, Gmail, but yeah, everyone's getting in there. Verizon just recently acquired Blue Jeans Network as well.
Yeah, I've been on a few Blue Jeans calls.
Yeah. So this is a interesting space. Yeah, I've never been able to connect.
Yeah.
But it's more of a network access, I think. But yeah, everyone's getting in the game. It's probably the right time to do it as well. I think that should about do it.
Wow. Thank you, everyone, for listening into episode 142. If you want to hear more of this good stuff, please go to the website, nakedtechpodcast.com. You can reach us on any of the social networks, including Twitch. Don't forget to subscribe to our YouTube channel. That's Calv out.
Jeff out.
Salute
out.
So strange.
Listening and watching.
Listening and watching.
I don't think 30 minutes is not possible.
What do you at? 41? Is that 41?
Period.
What was that?
Yeah. 41 minutes?
On Twitch.
Yeah. Oh, is that what you... Okay, that's probably right. It'll be about 38 then, yeah.
All right. Thanks to everyone on Twitch. We are logging off.